So we don't have a lot of us yet, among us yet, but I guess we all know that it's because of the festival. Or people will come on, I hope. Before we begin, we need to appreciate the effort that was put in. So first, thanks to the Syrian students in KAIST, Mr. Osama, Magic. Next, we have the ISSS manager over here, Miss. We have the ISSS manager over here. So, Miss Kim, I'm sorry. All right, so. Lastly, thanks to the KISA volunteers for helping us out for organizing the whole thing. So, are you all excited as I am? Yeah! I can't hear anyone. Are we all excited? Yeah!
Thanks, bro. Okay, as you can see, I'm having some technical difficulties, but hopefully not anymore. Yes, not anymore. Okay, so welcome to KAIST 1 Syria. This is a Syrian flag. Let me turn off the light so that you can see it better. Nope? Yep. So where is Syria? Can anyone see where it is? Yes. There it is. It's right in the middle of the three continents, as you can see. There's Europe, Africa, and Asia. And that made it a very important place, a very strategic place in history. It's like a bridge. Everyone who wanted to invade anywhere else, they had to pass through Syria. So it witnessed a lot. How big is it? Well, I hope this is a little bit to proportion. So Syria is 180,000 kilometers squared. Korea is 100. So it's like 1.8 bigger. And how many people are there? As you know, Korea is 50 million. Syria right now there are about 18 to 19 million people in Syria. But, so this is the growth of how many people there are with time. The green line is Iraq, and their neighboring countries, and Syria is blue. And as you can see, in 2010 it was around 21, but then it dipped. And that's because of the war. Most of this is because of migration outside of Syria. There are estimates that there are about 20% of Syrian people outside Syria right now. This is a satellite image that I took using Google Maps. As you can see, it's very diverse. There's a large desert here, but there's a river that flows from the north mountains, and there's the sea, and there are forests over here. So you see very diverse scenes. This is close up. As you can see, here are rivers and lakes, and there are agricultural areas, and there's a rocky desert over here. So you see things like this, and that, but also this and that. This is a very complicated map of the various ethnic, religious, and linguistic groups in Syria. Many of you would be surprised to know that Syria is very diverse. So there are Syrian Arabs, but there are also Greeks, Armenians, Assyrians, Kurds, Circassians, Mandians, and Turkmens. Religious groups include Sunnis, Christians, Jews, Alawatis, Druze, Ismailis, Mandians, Shiites, Salafis, and Yazidis. So you see things like this, and this is a synagogue in Damascus. I'm not even going to explain what that is. And Arabic is the official language, but in daily life we use modern Arabic dialects, and they vary widely from city to city, and we'll show you about that later. There are also other languages spoken, such as Turkish, Kurdish, Aramaic, which is notably the language of Jesus, and there are 4 spoken dialects. And Aramaic was the lingua franca, which means the language that was spoken to communicate between different cultures before Arabic. And it reaches back to the 16th century BC. There's also Circassian, Shishan, Armenian, and Greek. Syrians also learn English and French as second languages in school. Et c'est pourquoi je peux parler le français. So how come there's so much diversity? For that, we need to understand the history of the region. Former director of the Louvre Museum in Paris said that every person has two homelands, his own and Syria. So let's see a video and understand why he said that.
12,000 years ago, farming started in the region for the first time, and with more food, the population increased and the first cities were formed. And then Sargon, the first emperor in history, conquered the Middle East. Soon after that, the Assyrian Empire came into power. For 2,000 years, they ruled with force and trade. They even invaded Egypt and Anatolia. They're still living in small communities in northern Iraq. When they lost power, the Egyptians and the Hittites made the first peace treaty in history, both fearful of the Assyrians. Then came the big emperor's era. First the Persians, and after that Alexander the Great. Then Roman legions conquered the Syrian lands. Byzantine Rome and Christianity came into power just before Islam. The most important change in Syria was the Arabization of the Syrian community, with 90% of Syria having become Arabic Muslim. Some Syrians chose Islam, some Arabs moved there, and Damascus became the capital of the Islamic Caliphate. Christians, aware of Muslims, started crusades, but 100 years later, Saladin took back most of the Crusaders' cities. At that time, invaders came from the east, first the Mongolians, and after that the Timur came and ransacked Damascus and Aleppo, killing most of the people in both cities. At last, peace came to Syria's land with the Ottomans for 400 years, until the start of World War I. Syrians won independence 20 years after the war, although democracy was frequently disturbed by military coups and wars. The most recent were conducted by Hafez al-Assad, and after him his son. And here is what we have now.
Here's what we have now. Okay. So, but before we had this, we had that. In Ugarit, I don't know how it's pronounced, on the Syrian coast, it's a village, and there, you find the oldest Abjad alphabet. It's called Abjad because it starts with A, B, G, and D. And this Ugarit script, later the Phoenician alphabet, gave rise to a number of new written systems, including the Greek alphabet and Aramaic. The Greek alphabet evolved into the modern Western alphabet, such as Latin and Cyrillic, and Aramaic became the ancestor of many modern abjads in Asia. This is the first written melody in history that we know of, and it was also found in that city. And it was in a good shape that we were able to restore it. And listen to this. Sounds very old, right? The instrument is also the same instrument that they used to play. I'm so happy that music evolved from that. Roman emperors, some Roman emperors were from Syria. This is Marcus Aurelius Antonius Augustus from the city of Homs, which is in Syria. He was the emperor from 218 to 222. There was also Marcus Julius Philippus, also known as Philip the Arab. He was an emperor of Rome from 244 to 249. And he was born in the province where I come from the city called Chapa. And he's known in history for being very empathetic with the Christian religion, and he might be the first Christian emperor of Rome. These are some photos from his city, and I took these photos. Notice how people just live next to the ruins, and they also use the same stones to just live there. And sometimes ruins are in the middle of the street. And it's commonly known that beneath this street there are even more ruins, but they're buried and no one's digging them up. But that's fine because we have so much ruins. This is Busra. It's one of the largest Roman amphitheaters. And this is Palmyra, which became an independent state while under its queen warrior, Zenobia. These are the Hama Roman water wheels. 17 are left. Listen to this. They make a very annoying sound. But that sound has been going on for more than 1,000 years, so we love it. After the Romans came the Muslims, and they also built amazing monuments, including the Umayyad Mosque built in the 700s in Damascus, which was the capital of the Umayyad Caliphate. It has the shrine and head of John the Baptist. The mosque has the minaret of Jesus, this one. And it's said that Jesus will descend at the end of the days on this minaret. That it has also the tomb of Saladin, standing in a small garden adjoining the north wall of the mosque. In 2001, Pope John Paul II visited the mosque, and it was the first time a pope paid a visit to a mosque. This place has so much religious significance to almost everyone, and it's considered to be the fourth most holy place in Islam. After that came the Ottomans, and they built this very nice souk, which is a market. Now, is this photo taken at night or at day? Who thinks it's at day? Who thinks it's at night? Okay. It's taken in day. And this is a fabric that has holes in it. These are not stars. But when I was young, I clearly remember me first time seeing this, just looking up, and I can't look down. It's so beautiful. They look like stars. This is another photo of the market. So let me tell you a little bit about it. It's still used today by the traditional businesses and branches off into many other markets. And one of the businesses there, you will find this Bagdash ice cream, which dates back to the 1850s. It's the most delicious ice cream ever, and you don't need a fridge to make it. There's also a very famous traditional Damascene product, which is the Damascus steel. I bet a lot of you heard about it. They are reputed to be able to cut through rifles and stuff like that. The original method of production is not known, but a research team in Germany published a report in 2006 revealing nanowires and carbon nanotubes in the blade. And there's this very strange pattern. This is a photo of Damascus, and here is a monument. It's called the Damascus sword, and it's about that sword. So this market is a perfect way for me to tell you how people live with these ancient monuments, and these ancient monuments from different eras come together. So this is the statue of Saladin, and this is where the market starts. It starts right there in the corner. This is the Damascus Citadel, one of the 6 UNESCO sites in Syria. The market goes along the ancient Roman axis of the city to the Temple of Jupiter. And then from that, you see the Umayyad Mosque. You can go in and see that. So if you're standing right there, and you look that way, you see all of this. You see the Roman Temple of Jupiter, and then the souk, and then the Citadel of Damascus, which is a very old, ancient building. We don't even know how old it is. There's so much more that I can show you, but I don't have time. Just go there sometime. So, Syria is a very, very diverse place. But in general, the society is a traditional society with a long cultural history, as you saw. Importance is placed on family, education, religion, self-discipline, and respect. A good way of seeing how diverse Syrian people are is to see how we dress. You have this in the east, but you have this in the north, and that's in the south. Those traditional clothes are growing out of fashion, of course. People just wear this nowadays. And Damascus is the melting pot of all those people, everyone. It has people from all over Syria. So you see people dressing like this, but also like that, and like this. And this is Damascus at night. It's one of the most romantic places, isn't it? Wouldn't you love to walk here with your boyfriend or girlfriend? Yeah, I got my heart broken in this place. Don't worry, I'm fine now. Good news is that I'm single. Good for half of you. This is the view from my house in the suburbs of Damascus. This is where I grew up, and that is my school. That was my school. I used to spend most of my day here because in the morning I would go to school, but afternoon I would jump off the fence and play football with my friends. And this, when I was 16, I moved to a new city because of the war, and this is the view from my new house. Let's see, this is called service, which is Arabized out of service, I guess. And it's the main method of transport in Damascus. Football is the most popular sport in Syria, and we play it everywhere. As I told you, we play it in schools, but also in that village I used to play it in the street, just everywhere. Basketball is also very popular. That's me playing tennis in Syria. Tennis is also very popular. And that's me with my family on the Syrian coast in the sea. Swimming is also very popular. And chess is a very popular board game. And now, where's Majd? Come up, bro. We're gonna teach you some Arabic.
Hey guys, so my name is Majd, and I'm actually from the capital city, Damascus. And we're just gonna teach you some words that we usually use in everyday life. So if you're in Damascus and you wanna go up to someone and say hi, it's marhaba. So you guys repeat after me. Marhaba. Marhaba. That's good.
So, I'm from Sueda, which is another city. And in Sueda, when someone says marhaba to you, you say hala. Hala. What do you say if someone says marhaba?
Marhaba.
Okay.
Yeah. Because my city has a different accent.
So I also say hala if you say thank you to me, or if you are coming into my house, I would say welcome, I'd say hala.
So after saying hello, you want to say how are you to the person. And the way to say this is kifa. This is a shortened version of kif halak, but in Damascus we just say kifa. So,
We also say kifak. Yeah.
so kifa.
Kifak. And how do you reply? You say tamam. Cool, so let's have a conversation.
Marhaba.
Hala.
Kifa.
Tamam.
So this word is very traditionally Damascene, so from my city. So if you say it to someone, they're gonna like laugh at you if you're not Syrian. So it means good job. So my dad would tell it to me when, like, I don't know, I wash his car or whatever. So it means, so to say it is bri alik. Bri alik. And in Sweden they say it in a different version.
We say afaram alik. Okay, I don't expect you to be able to say it. This word, I don't know where it came from. It's not Arabic, and it's probably some older language, but I'm not going to pretend to know anything about it. This is another word in Syria, in my city that we say, it's badduq. Badduq. It's a very funny word. It means streetwise or street smart, and there's a similar word.
In Damascus, it's harbu. So, harbu. So it also means street smart or sly kind of thing. And it's kind of like, you sometimes use it to make fun of some people.
Yeah. Okay. And the last word is shukran. Means thank you. Everyone say thank you to Majd. All right. Thanks, bro. Yeah. All right, so Syrian music, in particular the music that was going on in Damascus, is one of the most important Arab music, especially the classical Arabic music. Syria has produced several Arab stars, such as Asmahan. You don't need to say everything from now on. Farid al-Atrash, which is her brother, who is her brother. And this is Sabah Fakhi. And I'm gonna show you a very ancient video. I want you to pay attention to a few things. First of all, there's a feeling that we call tarab. All Arabic people know it, because that's how you listen to classical Arabic music. Just get so involved with the music. And you listen and you get time. When I was a kid, I used to be very bored when my parents are listening to this, but now I kind of understand. After a while, when people are really into the music, when they're really in the vibe, it becomes like this. So as you can see, people are participating. They're not like, it's not like Western classical music where people just lay back and listen. We show you that we are enjoying it. Alright. This is Fairuz. Fairuz is the most popular singer in Syria. She's not Syrian, but I'm gonna include her because she's very culturally important. She's from Lebanon, which is culturally close to Syria anyway. Listen to this. This is how Syria wakes up. We listen to her music every morning, all of us. It's in public taxis, buses, schools, in every home in the morning with coffee before we go to our schools, our jobs. I used to listen to this while putting on my school uniform. My mom is preparing our sandwiches, my dad is ironing and drinking coffee. And by the way, there's a form of Syrian coffee called qahwa murra. Can you say that? Qahwa murra. Okay. Afaram alaikum. So if you want more, you just extend it, and if you don't want any more, you shake it, and then the person takes the cup. And we drink that in festivals, in Eids. Muslim people know what the Eid is, right? So you might be thinking, this is not Arabic music, this is just Western modern music, right? It's a merge of many cultural like music. It's a merge of Western and also jazz, but there's also like Arabic kind of music. So alright, that's enough. There's also Lina Shamamian, a modern singer, also Faya Yunan, and Rasha Rizq. All Arabic people, or almost all of them, know Rasha Rizq because she used to sing our favorite animes. In Syria, it was a center for dubbing anime into Arabic. And they picked the nicest animes for children, and they changed the stories a little bit so that they make it relevant to the culture and has moral messages for everyone. You probably know this anime, right? The first person to say the name of this anime wins. Yeah, she has an amazing voice. For the new generation, the music scene is very diverse. As in any country, people listen to music from all over the world. But these days, the music that people compose is, and art in general, is largely affected by the war. and I'll show you a rare underground music scene in Syria. Feel free to party. All right. Anyone wants to dance? I'm gonna teach you the very famous dabki, which is a dance, a very traditional dance in Syria. So, come up. Come on. Come on, where's Shubro? Where's Shubro? Come on, Shubro. Everyone go to my left. Okay. Hold hands, everyone, like in the photo. Like this. To my left, everyone to my left. To my left, like there, over there. Yeah. Over there, way over there. Over there. Okay, that's enough people. Let him be. All right, so we're ready? Everyone must look at me. So the person on the rightmost leads, and afterwards he improvises or she improvises. But for now, I'm not going to improvise. I just want you to understand how this works. Pay attention. With the beat, step, step, up, step, step, up, step, step.
توبة بالليل
Step,
والله جنني
step, step. There you go.
والتوب
Step,
سوادي
up,
لعبتها
step. You
عبادية
step with your left. Your leg doesn't move. Your right leg doesn't move much. You step with your left. And the left one goes up, and then it steps again. Always step with your left.
موتني الظهرية
There you go. That's good.
الأزهاق قلبي بيتحرك هزي خصرك هزي سهم بقلبي وهزي
Step, up, step, step.
هزي خصرك هزي سهم بقلبي وهزي
Okay. Watch Shubro. Watch the person next to me. The person next to me, his job is to give me space to improvise, but also keep the beat for you guys. Okay? So you watch him. Watch him. Okay, don't watch me. You're gonna get lost. Ready? Watch him. Okay? Good. Oh shit. Keep going. Keep going. Okay. 1, 2.
توبة بالليل والله جنني
Okay, go back. All right. I wasn't able to show you how awesome I dance, but look at these people. Notice how the people people over here learn from that guy and then copy him. He's the person who's leading everything. He can do whatever he wants, basically, to the people. Okay, that's enough. Let me tell you about education. Thanks for clapping. Syrian education system has remnants of the French baccalaureate system. As you know, Syria was a French colony. 12 years at school, and then there's a general exam. Your grades in that general exam determine your major in a Syrian university, not what university you go to. So if you want to go into medicine, you gotta have like 90-something% of your score. If you want to go into engineering, you gotta have like 87%, something like that. So what you do in life is determined by this grade. So it's very important for Syrian people. And the competition is really, really high. During that year, the competition might actually be as harsh as here in Korea. And I remember not being able to sleep the night before my first exam. Oh no. Oh no. Okay. This video that I'm gonna show you is a part of a really good documentary that was in 2011. And that's exactly when the revolution/war started. And you'll be able to see how life was back then, and you'll also learn about the education system.
Damascus, Syria, the oldest capital on earth. We're following 4 very different schools in Damascus, from rural primary to smart city girls secondary. For 40 years, Syria has been dominated by a single party, and there's limited political freedom. But here in Damascus, life is changing, especially for the next generation. Now, at the end of the school year, it's time to plan ahead.
شاعر لاعب كرة سلة خطاط رائد فضاء دكتور يصير في المستقبل سوبرمان.
But to move to the next stage, first you have to pass exams. Farah and Rahaf are twins facing the dreaded baccalaureate. Iraqi refugee Yusuf has given up on his exams, hoping he'll strike lucky with a visa to move abroad. And Ammar has his sights set on becoming Syria's national champion pioneer in agriculture. In Damascus, it's exam season, and everyone's future is riding on it.
Marked for life. That's exactly what it is.
This is Mix FM Syria.
Oh yeah. What's up, world?
Exams, exams, exams. Bet you're all out revising. It's time to take a break and listen to this.
Mix FM Syria. To be Syrian.
There are 2 months to go until the critical baccalaureate exams. At the prestigious Zakir Arsuzi Girls' High School, it's parents' evening. Headmistress Amal Hassan is setting the agenda.
لماذا لا نزال نغرس في ذهن الأنثى أن الحصول على فرصة زواج جيد أفضل بكثير من الحصول على نتيجة علمية جيدة.
Compared with a generation ago, many more Syrian women are making it to university. It's a high-pressure time for students and their parents.
هلا نحن عم نتعب كلياتنا لنوصل للبكالوريا كلياتنا. هذا البكالوريا أساسية بحياة الطالب. المصطلح النفسي فوبيا الامتحان.
Amal is anxious that her students don't fail her.
وصل على البكالوريا المعلومات بالعاشر والحادي عشر وما أخذ نهائيا.
Okay, you can continue this later. It's a BBC documentary about life, school life in Syria. But I want to tell you about what happened in 2011. There was this, then this, and then that. You see the destruction on the left? This is Damascus. Some of you might recognize the French planning of the city, but look at the destruction here. Well, how did that happen? It happened like this. What would you do if that was where you lived? You tried to run away, right? Well, many people tried to run away, and some of these people went through hell to escape. And even now, they're not necessarily leading better lives. This is a video of someone who was trying to escape. She was trying to go to Europe.
من أصور لك إياه؟ مين إنها أول صورة كيف يصور لك إياه؟ السلام عليكم.
Okay? So you're just going to walk straight this way, okay? No one's seen him, and this guy's not coming.
I skipped through the very, not very good scenes. I don't want you to see. But you can see by yourself. But I want to show you this. So they use tear gas.
It's really hot.
Yeah.
We must stay here, but why are you staying?
We're just...
So interesting activities here.
I know.
Too many things. It's boring.
Yeah, it is. من أصور.
Yeah, so basically you can try to escape, but it's going to be very boring. Alright, so how did people live under war? It's very important to understand that safety and living conditions within Syria varied a lot from city to city and from time to time. So there was a lot of migration within Syria. But even in safe cities, people lived under very poor living conditions, destroyed infrastructures, little electricity, heating, and gas. So how do you survive? How do you have a good life under these situations? Well, people try to live their daily lives, and they find refuge in pursuing their passions, studies, music, and art, etc. A friend told me this: when life is really difficult, doing what you love is not luxury, it's a matter of survival. Some of you might know this painting. It's by Gustav Klimt. It's called The Kiss. And that is in Syria. I find that the holes in the wall fit in perfectly with the drawing. And notice the laundry here on the left. Or is it the right? Okay. I also love this artwork. It's by Ayham Jabir. And it's called Damascus Under Siege. This is the Damascene sword that I was telling you about, the monument.
When the war in Iraq started, we are the Syrians were wondering house I live in Iraq and it's a war. Now we are living this. We handle all those 5 years, not because, yeah, we are survivor. No, by doing what we love, what saved us, dancing. A big responsibility for me to be the only teacher here, as well as manager. Once I had thought to close this school because no one is listening to what I want. Cold, no more, no even another teacher help me, no. Standing alone. And that day, every time I look into those kids' eyes, I say, oh my God, how stupid I am. We cannot give up and lose our hope.
In 2018 and going into 2019, the war is settled, and you can say that the hard parts of the war are now over. And now people are going back to their destroyed neighborhoods in some places, and they're trying to rebuild. But poverty levels are extreme. Infrastructure, even in the capital, which could be the best place in Syria to live right now, it's very bad. But life goes on. These are two of my friends working on a multifunctional robotic arm. And this is the SCPC team, Syrian. It's the Syrian Collegiate Programming Contest. And they participated in the international contest, the ICPC, in 2019, this year. And the Syrian Virtual University team was the top team in Africa and the Middle East. Overall, they tied at 21st place with KAIST and other leading universities such as Harvard, TUM, and Stanford. I honestly don't know how these guys did it. It's amazing. Now things are quite safe in Damascus, so you can visit as a tourist. And this is a video of, I'm going to show you a video of Syrian people who are living abroad, visiting Syria late in 2018. And they're attending a wedding in Damascus. Now, the wedding you're about to see is not very traditional. Traditional Syrian weddings vary from culture to culture. And a wedding in my city would take like 2 weeks sometimes, if it's a traditional wedding. It's it's a hassle. But this wedding is pretty nice, so yeah, hope you enjoy this video. It has a lot of personal moments, so I'm gonna skip through these.
So we are going to Beirut, and then from Beirut to Syria.
We miss you, Maya, so much. We love you, everything. Who the hell cares? Because we are friends,
Syrian people really care that the inside of their house is very, very beautiful.
I'm sick today, as I have been for the past month. We are going to this famous restaurant called Mora. Mora is located in Bludan. It's super famous in Syria. Like, if you're Syrian, you know what I'm talking about. It's like the Munir of Lebanon, you know?
As if you guys know the Munir of Lebanon.
We are now going to this place called 13 and 12. Why? Because it's on the 13th floor. Why are we going? We're going because we want to celebrate our present day.
And we're gonna have to come back. We need to take a picture before the elevator goes
We're
over
gonna
there.
So update on day 3. Today is the 18th. I mean, look at the wind. You don't get this at home, to be honest. Tonight, we have a dinner at our uncle's house downstairs in the same building as us. And we're going to be celebrating the bride and groom. They're going to exchange the rings tonight. So it's fun.
تجلى يا صباح الخير وصفوه ذهب معروف بالميزان وصفوه دواء الوصل
So apparently the
دواء الوصل
groom goes up to the bride and her dad, and then I didn't know that this would happen because I was never married.
ظهور الخيل أهل القرية عريس مثل سهيل عالي المنزل وعروس بدر الليل عيون مكحلة عريس مثل سهيل عالي المنزل وعروس بدر الليل عيون مكحلة
المسكر بالعيش وملعب روح السفارك الغريب يا واللي يحبك يا عريس
So much fun. But we're all so tired. We're all so exhausted. Like, none of us can. But we're going to sit in the shop for breakfast.
Is this making you hungry? This is the market that I told you about. This is the ice cream place that I told you about.
So قولي لنا شوي عن بكداش جودي.
ما بعرف تأسس عام 1895.
She's just breathing from what it says on the board.
I want a like. Maybe this will get me more likes.
Ah, look at this. I want to see this in Korea. Why don't you bring some of that? Tete is grandma. Jiddo is grandma. Aren't you going to sing?
أنا واحد لازم واحد يغني واحد يسمع.
Syrian people are so wise, honestly. Okay, they went to that restaurant again. Okay, that's enough of this video, I guess. Syrian food is very, very diverse. Now, before you go out and eat, I want you to see all the food that you're not going to eat today.
Oh, God. 50% alcohol. What? Whoa.
Akhlin!
Syrian food.
I know nothing about Syrian food.
Bring it on. Omima Sarak.
100 proof. Holy I know how to get down.
Oh, I know. Damn.
It's like Dimetap, Robitussin. I know it's growing on me every time.
To the top. You heard the lady. Activate the grape Sahtin.
No, not Sahtin. Mix it with water.
Sahtin. Sahtin. Whoa. I hate black licorice.
It burns!
It's like what I imagine perfume tastes like.
I'm not Syrian enough. I'm really drunk.
We are a little bit
We're
tipsy.
pretty tipsy.
Hi-yo!
I think it's gonna freak out the white in you. And
Ah, I just saw it! Ah! Oh, don't pick it up! Get that away from me!
This is clearly stuffed into intestines.
it looks like something I've created before.
It smells incredible.
Oh yeah!
There's rice again.
Is that garlic?
Get that garlic all on my bowels.
It doesn't taste better. Oh.
It's a garlic.
This is just a branding problem.
If you can get past the look, it's worth it.
Diamond meatball stew. Ooh! Blah.
Ooh, I like that.
Oh man, I love it.
I don't know.
What is that?
It's so briny. Kind of sour. Mucusy.
Creamy, so powdery.
Is this yogurt?
It's yogurt?
Really? What?
Nothing is more off-putting than the idea of warm yogurt. Somebody invented this dish when they were like, oh no, my yogurt, it's still outside. Now wait, it's not totally bad. It's not totally bad, well. Got some meatballs.
Hey, cutie.
Hi.
Oh.
It's like a little Bambi.
What?
Syrian pizza.
It smells like a Jamaican beef patty.
Is it meat baklava? It smells like pumpkin pie and sausage.
Cheers.
There's even some cinnamon.
It's like a meat pastry.
Oh, I think it's that hot. It's delicious.
I would definitely eat this again.
Yeah.
I wasn't done with that.
This looks like something like my mom would make.
This is goat?
Are there raisins in here?
There's all these like great warm spices. Oh my gosh, this is cinnamony. Smell that? Let's think about it. I smell that cardamom.
Oh my god, that is so bad.
Habibi, cool, habibi.
This is bomb.
So flavorful. This is everything.
No, melt in your mouth chicken.
You don't really need teeth for any of this food.
You call me Boom Tim Tebow, this is Taipei.
You can give me that Matt Lupe any day, child. Cake time! Cake. Syrian cake.
Let's find out what meat we're having now. Oh my gosh, it's so gunky. Halal
Jubilee.
Is this uncooked dough?
Texture's just right.
I can't watch you do that and then want to eat it.
It's got like a floral accent.
Yeah. And the pistachios won't quit. They are just like,
It's all cheese. Not fat.
Oh my god, the pastry is so sweet.
Make a wedding cake in kanafe.
I'm marrying you.
Seriously.
Did you say seriously?
Oh! I made that joke once in my life. I'm never making it again.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
There are beautiful people with a beautiful culture and beautiful food.
This is good stuff. Yeah.
Holy
Wait a tear. Oh, I think that was the booze.
All right. That's it. Thanks, guys, for listening.
Thank you, Osama. Did we all have fun? Yeah, we did. Yeah, thanks a lot, Osama. Uh,